This time on Turtle Crossing.
I just came out the hose. We knew this was a little dangerous because this hose isn't a great hose, but it's the only one that we had at the time. Ready?
Yep.
Which is on, I believe.
Oh, it's on! This is important. You gotta make sure that you feed your locker gremlins, otherwise they get out of hand.
Let's go get some food. Season 3, here we come, bitches!
We bought our Bayfield 32C sailboat named Mr. Turtle in May of 2022, with plans to make it cruising ready so we could travel as a family and live more minimally. We've achieved the minimalism part to some extent, but what about the travel part? Mr. Turtle was a very basic weekend cruiser when we bought him, designed to go from dock to dock, perhaps the occasional anchorage for a night or two, but not designed for a family of 3 to live on it full time and cruise the Caribbean on. But that was exactly what we had in mind. We've come a long way with our refit, and we thought we should talk about what comes next. We debated back and forth about potentially leaving the dock this fall and beginning our journey down south. But Mr. Turtle isn't ready yet. And neither are we. We still need to potentially add another battery, as well as upgrade our head, our washroom, from a holding tank system to a composting head, and a few other projects. Last winter was really hard on all of us, as it can often be in Canada. Because of the weather and isolation, but also feeling like we didn't have a home base, Mr. Turtle was hauled out, and all our possessions were in boxes, and we moved into my grandma's basement. I truly loved the time I got to spend seeing my grandma every day. We also had laundry and a shower and our big screen TV, but it was still someone else's space, and we had all really come to feel at home on our little boat. So, this winter, since we are not heading south quite yet, and since we have a lot of projects still to complete, we have decided to get ourselves a winter liveaboard slip and brave the long winter on the docks. I don't know if this is on. There it is. Yeah, we're just checking out our friends' boats right now that have been wrapped up for winter. Doesn't really feel like they should be wrapped up today. It feels like people should be out on the water. It's like 15 degrees. Anyways, we're gonna go and see our buddy, see how they're doing and how winter's been for them. It's kind of neat seeing all the boats kind of wrapped up, iglooed up.
This will be us next year.
Yeah, maybe.
We're gonna look into getting a winter slip.
Yeah, we're gonna see about getting a winter slip. Look at how that one's wrapped up. It's a little different.
Yeah.
We get a lot of mixed responses to this plan. Everything from people saying we're crazy to the ones who envy us for being brave enough to attempt it. But when we talk to our liveaboard friends who do it every winter, it's usually a shrug and yeah, it's not too bad. The one thing going for us is that it will hopefully be our last Canadian winter for a while. As come early summer 2024, we untie our lines and head off on our biggest adventure yet. You guys want pancakes later? sail fans. It's beautiful today, and it's a really good day because it's Monday. Oh, is that nasty little bird trying to make a nest? It's Monday and Chris doesn't have to go to work today, so that's pretty nice. And now I think I'm gonna make some pancakes for the boys, and then we're gonna figure out our day. Earlier this season, we had installed a transducer for our new Raymarine depth sounder. Today, we are attempting to finish running the cables and get power to the depth sounder display.
So these are the cables. There's a bunch of cables that have to come through here, and it's very hard to keep them hidden. So I'm pulling out the old power cables, these two, and pulling through the new cable for our Raymarine device. But I'm also pulling through a fish because I'm about to have to pull another line through. But when I pull the other line through, which is the for the depth sounder, from the transducer to the depth sounder, I'll also get another fish because we'll have to get another power line for these guys. I guess I could just keep these power lines, but we kind of want to replace everything. Just give us 1 second while. So I'm wearing a ridiculous shirt.
You are wearing a ridiculous shirt.
I have to say it all over again.
While we were fishing away for the wires, there was a mini explosion of water. Our temporary hose had burst, soaking the cockpit and us.
Hose, Dada.
Well, I just came out the hose. We knew this was a little dangerous because this hose isn't a great hose, but it's the only one that we had at the time. But it just split, so we were sitting here and it burst. So we were worried about that. Like, that happens when we leave. Like, it can flood the boat. Like, it might be pumping in faster than our drains can pump out. But luckily, it popped here where it's in the sun. But if it popped in here, okay, that's the same line right here. So if it had burst there, then it's up to the bilge pump to pump out, and I'm not sure if our bilge pump is powerful enough to pump it out as fast as the hose could pump it in. So every time we left, we've been closing it, but I was just using it, so I had it open, and it split right open. So I ran those cables, pulled them through, fished them through, and it's the first time since we purchased this boat that something just worked. So it's pretty good. I'm pretty impressed with that. So let's see if it continues. So I've got the power cable. It's still not connected to power, but it's where I can access it. And I've got my 2 fish that went through.
These are old, holy.
I'm just trying to organize the cables a little bit. So this is the cable that we just pulled through. This is going to be the power supply to our new depth sounder. We need to connect this end to the battery, so I'm going to run another cable from the fuse box down in there, run a cable here, and then just have connectors on the end to actually get it to go where it needs to go. Now, this was one of the fish lines that I brought through, me and Sarah brought through. I'm going to pull this. These go to the transducer, but I can't really crimp it like I did last time. I don't want to wreck any of the connections that they already have. They said do not cut anything. I'm sure like some of these are just power cables, but just to be on the safe side, because I also don't have anything to replace those ends. Like these aren't your typical connector ends. So I've connected a butt connector to this end, but because I can't join them, I'm thinking of just kind of locking them together kind of like that, so that they have something to hold on to, and then taping them together. So that's my thinking currently. Let's see if it works. This is the 2 cables connected with electrical tape. It is very bulky in the middle where the 4 connectors are, we will have to see if this fits through. We pulled it through. We had a little bit of resistance, so I was a little nervous, so I kind of flexed. There's fiberglass here, external fiberglass, so I kind of flexed it a little bit. I pulled it through the bigger hole, and then I was able to fish it through the small hole where we want all the cables coming through. Again, we don't have any grommet in here, so I'm thinking maybe we'll wrap once we have all the cables run that we want to run, I'll wrap as much electrical tape as I can, and then hopefully that prevents any wear. It's more than it ever had before, so let's hope that's good enough.
Raymarine uses a proprietary cable to bring power to the depth sounder display, and we finally had the cable we needed. But because it isn't long enough to get from our fuse panel to our display, Chris is adding length by splicing our own wire to the Raymarine one. I am by no means an expert in electrical stuff, but I know that copper is expensive because Chris has told me so. And currently he's
Whittling down
our wire.
10 gauge wire to, 18 gauge wire. So it's just so that I can join them together.
This is just temporary.
Yeah, I was hoping to use this cable for everything, but I think I might have to invest in a second roll, just because this is an utter waste. Figure it out. We'll get there. Just not today.
This is because you talked about how everything was going so smoothly, you know that, right?
So I gotta turn the switch on here. Turn the switch. Ready?
Yep.
Switch is on, I believe.
Oh, it's on!
Yeah, it is.
It's on, yeah. It's not. Oh, it's reading it. It's reading it accurately, I think. 31.2 feet. That's probably right.
Sounds about right.
Yay! I'm so happy. That's a big deal. Today, what did you accomplish?
Very little.
Do you really feel like it was very little? Do you actually feel that way, or are you just saying that because you're being modest?
So that one temporary hose that we ran burst, so I ran another temporary line. So not much progress there.
No, but
it's still a temporary line. This one's a more safe temporary line.
We knew that one was going to burst.
The other thing is I temporarily hooked up wires to the depth sounder, and that works. We're moving along. Like if Sarah can turn around, you can see there's wires hooked up to a switch. So we finally have a switch being used. Again, very sketchy wiring. I don't have any of the lengths cut yet. I just needed to get it run.
It's not sketchy. Like at least it's heat shrunk with.
Do you want to do this again with the normal switch?
No, I want you to understand what it means that I have to walk around with you wearing this. Chris got really into Mandalorian, and then he found this at Walmart and thought this was funny.
Sarah was hideous. I'm like,
it's
that sealed the deal. Worth the $12.
It's a bad. You don't even wear tank tops most of the time.
We should put this on Nick right now, Mama.
No, it's not gonna work. So you want to hear what I accomplished today? I got this mask tape, and I guess I'll include the little bit of me trying to like attach the mask tape just so you know what it looked like. But so here's that moment. I needed to do a little bit more research before I started this. So this was $27. And it's wasted. Absolutely wasted. So there's that. I did that. And I don't think I did anything else. I cleaned up the boat.
I made doing my temporary.
Tidied a bit. Oh, I passed tools. I didn't. Oh, and I fed you in the little gremlin hole.
Yeah, that was nice. Oh, I thought you meant fed me wire, but you actually fed me.
Oh, I did feed you wire too,
Yeah,
so I did that.
It's a lot easier having a hand to pass you stuff. Like being there, I needed tools passed down, and I needed to feed wires, both pull them and push them.
You shouldn't feel like you haven't accomplished anything. Moving forward, the boat isn't more broken than when we started, which is a first for us. Thanks for doing all you did today, baby. Next time on Turtle Crossing.
look down.